Hello and thank you for joining. My name is Daniel Vanella. I am an account manager here at CobbleStone Software, and today I will be walking through some of the key features of the Contract Insight tool and how these features can be used to streamline your current contract management processes. We will see here upon login to the Contract Insight system, we are brought to a dashboard screen. I like to think of this dashboard as a home page where I am going to have any relevant information that I may need to see right upon glance logging into the system. We'll notice that my dashboard is going to be aligned with different types of tiles and docs. And starting at the top of the screen here, we can begin with the button tiles. These are the buttons you will see at the top row right here. Our button tiles are really just a quick shortcut to any page within the tool. If you are someone who might be submitting requests frequently, you can get to that screen in one click, as opposed to clicking multiple times. You will also have the ability to view your ad hoc reports in one click, as opposed to clicking multiple times to get to that screen. These button tiles are really used as a quick shortcut to ease navigation throughout the system. Any page you may be accessing frequently, you can now get there in the click of a button. Now, beneath the button tiles, we come to our summary tiles, and these are going to tie in directly with an ad hoc report. The idea behind these summary tiles is I can now log in and see how many contracts are expiring. What is the average contract amount within my system? Do I have any pending requests, and how much are they worth? How many high-risk contracts are in my tool? Now, all of this information is configurable, and one user may log in and see completely different tiles than the next user. Scrolling down a bit further, we come to our first doc, and this is our calendar doc here. This calendar is going to populate with any key date around a contract record, whether that is a expiration date, contract expiration warning date, a review date, renewal date, along with any task that might be assigned to an individual. So whether you're associated with a contract that has a key date coming up, or you have a task to act on, you're going to be notified in at least 3 separate ways. You will first receive notification on this calendar here. You will also receive notice at the top of your screen in the alerts and notification section. And you will also receive a personalized email sent directly to you with a link right to this contract record. So you will be notified of a key date or task to act on in at least 3 separate ways. And as a fourth point of notification, we offer an integration with Microsoft Outlook. As anything populates within the CobbleStone calendar, it can simultaneously appear within your Outlook calendar. Now, scrolling down a bit further, we come to our first ad hoc report. This report right here is showing me all active contracts within my system. And you will notice that an ad hoc report can be built off of any metadata field that we add to Contract Insight, whether that's an out-of-the-box metadata field or a user-defined metadata field. These reports can then be used to build these ad hoc reports, where they can then be pinned to your dashboard screen for ease of access right upon login to the system. Now, I can always export these ad hoc reports at any time into Excel spreadsheet format. I can even have these reports emailed out on a recurring basis to external users of the system. Maybe there are a handful of senior level officers that would like to receive a few reports from the CobbleStone tool. We do not need to purchase them a license just so they can access these reports. We can assure that they will be sent out to their email in Excel spreadsheet format on a recurring schedule of our choice. Another example of an ad hoc report, scrolling down a bit further, you will see all open tasks. And again, I could always come in and filter using any of these column headers here. Maybe I only want to see tasks that are assigned to Daniel. I can then go in, apply a filter, and narrow these results down. We recommend pinning any ad hoc report that you might be accessing frequently, multiple times a week, multiple times a month, right to your dashboard screen so you have this report handy upon login to the tool. Now you will notice Every line item here also has a View Contract link, where I can click this button and quickly be brought to that contract record, where more metadata information, the files, and attachments are stored. Now, scrolling back to the top of the dashboard screen, the last thing I would like to mention is that we can have a system-wide dashboard so that everybody sees the same thing upon login to the tool. The dashboard can even be broken down to the department level. Maybe everyone from the accounting department logs in and they only see accounting-related alerts here, and maybe only accounting-related reports. Whereas someone from HR logs in, they may only be seeing HR-related reports and HR-related tasks and notifications on their calendar here. Now, moving on from the calendar, I will actually jump into a contract record. And you will see here upon going to a contract record screen, I will first be notified that I do have a task to complete. But then scrolling to the top, I will also see that I have a unique set of metadata fields assigned to this particular contract type. If this contract type were, let's say, an NDA, I may have completely different fields shown here. And you'll notice I've filled out some of these fields already. And you have the ability to now run a search or report off of any of these fields here. We give a variety of fields out of the box, but you will have the ability to go in and create as many fields as you would like directly through the user interface. Now, we'll notice at the top of my screen, I also received a message. And this is a common alert letting me know that this contract has a higher value than we typically see for this type of agreement. So you can have particular alerts or messages that will go off if a dollar threshold is met or if something seems out of the norm. Now, you'll see scrolling down a bit further, we also have the ability to assign these different fields to different field groups. Here I have a field group for just my dates. I also have a field group for financial and budgetary information. And if there are any additional dates that we may track around a record or additional financial fields, we can always go in and add new fields directly through the user interface. Now, we will notice that a task was kicked off, and this is the first task of our standard workflow process. The idea behind the workflow tool is we are able to set up a rules-based workflow process that rolls off based on the values within our metadata fields. Now, the first task that is rolled off here is assigned to the initial requester, myself, to prepare this document for review. One thing I could do to prepare a document for review is come in and I could upload supporting documentation, which I have here. You can have as many files or attachments as you would like assigned to a contract record. There is no limit. And you can even create subfolders to better narrow down your supporting documents or amendments, archived versions, etc. Now, being that I've uploaded some supporting documentation, the next thing I could do is draft our standard consulting agreement, which I have done right here by pressing Merge Standard Template. After drafting that agreement, I can then quickly attach it right to our contract record. And we will see here when I preview that I will pull in some of the information from this contract record, such as the effective date, the counterparty that we're working with and their address. And the idea behind this is we no longer have to do a Control-F find and search in Microsoft Word. The system will populate the agreement with the different variable information that changes from one contract to the next. Now, being that I have uploaded some supporting documentation, I've also drafted the consulting agreement, I will now press Approve and complete this task. Now, we will notice as soon as I complete this task, the next step of our internal approval process will now roll off. And the next task of our workflow has been kicked off to Steve Stevenson. In this case, as soon as I completed this task here, Steve Stevenson would have just received notice on his calendar he would have just received an alert at the top of his screen in the Alerts Notification section. He also would have just received an email with a link right to this contract record, letting Steve know that he has the finance review to complete. I, as Daniel, the initial requester, no longer need to make that connection, that I've done my part, and send an email to Steve for his review or stop by his desk. The system is going to alert Steve for us. Now we will notice as I completed my first task, the status of my contract is going to now change, and it will now reflect the stage that we are currently in, which is finance review. Anyone running a report or search on all contracts in finance review would now find the CobbleStone consulting agreement. Now, wearing the hat of Steve, maybe one thing I will do is come and make sure that my contract amount is within budget. In this case, it looks like it is. We are good to go. So what I could do now is go in and approve this task on behalf of Steve. Now, before I press approve from right here, I will actually log on to the task record so we have an idea of all that goes into a task. You'll notice there is a unique set of metadata fields completely different from the fields that are on our contract record. Here I have who the employee assigned to this task might be, the task name, the start and end date. But one of the most important fields is going to be this escalate to field. Right now, after 2 days of this task going incomplete, it will then be rerouted to John Johnson. And that is to alleviate any bottlenecks there might be in our internal approval process and make sure that no tasks slip through the cracks. Maybe Steve needed to leave the office impromptu for a week or got sick and was unable to come in for a few days. The system will recognize that this task has gone incomplete for 2 days, and it will then reroute it to the next individual in line. You'll notice we also have a details field where I can give details on this task, instruct our employees what to do when they receive a task. Now, we'll notice I also have the ability to go in and either complete or reject this task here. And I will press complete approve task, and we will notice that this actually kicks off the next step of our workflow process, alerting Sally Smith that she now has the legal review to complete. Being that it is legal review, one thing I could do is come in and quickly compare two versions of a document to each other right within the CobbleStone system itself. And that can be done directly through the document toolbox, where I have a variety of tools. I could lock or unlock access to a particular file. I can automatically OCR crawl any image-based PDF that's added to the system. That document can then be made text searchable after OCR crawled, and you can search off of the language within that particular file. You can view the history of any file or attachment, see who has downloaded that document and when they had done so. You can upload to and from a cloud application such as Microsoft OneDrive or the Google Cloud. But again, the tool that I will be showing here for legal review is our View Text and Compare tool, where I can quickly compare Proposal 1 to Proposal 2. And now when I press Compare right here, the system is going to strike any language that has been struck from that first proposal and highlight in green any language that was added to the second proposal. Now I could quickly press Word right here and export this document to Microsoft Word, make my changes, and upload a new version using our CobbleStone Microsoft Word plugin. In this case, I will say that it looks good to me, and I will now approve this task for legal review. And you will see once I approve right here that the next task of our workflow process is going to roll off. We will see that there is now a task for send for signature, going back to the initial requester. Here, I, as Daniel Smith, the initial requester of the agreement, now knows that we've made our way through finance review. I've made my way through legal review, and I am now good to send this document out for signature. When sending a document out for signature, we can use the CobbleStone IntelliSign module. We also offer a third-party eSign connector license for an already purchased DocuSign or Adobe Sign account. Today, I'll be walking through the CobbleStone IntelliSign module, where you'll see I can quickly send a document out for signature right from the CobbleStone tool. And upon signature, that signed agreement will automatically be uploaded back into our system. So I will go ahead and we will send this to John Johnson. And I will send this to myself so we have an idea of what that counterparty is going to receive. And now that I have a recipient assigned, I can begin this process. When I press Start Process, that is sending this consulting agreement out for signature to John Johnson. Within a few seconds, our counterparty is then going to receive an email letting them know that they have been invited to sign a document. And here is an example of what that email might look like. Sent on behalf of Daniel Smith. John Johnson, you've been invited to participate in the electric signing of your document. Now, all I would need to do as the counterparty is click Sign Your Document, where I am brought to the CobbleStone IntelliSign portal. I first agree to the electronic records and signatures, and I then have the ability to scroll to the fourth page, third page, and submit my signature. And after signing the document, I can then press Verify and Complete, and this will now complete our e-signature process. When I refresh this IntelliSign dashboard here, we'll notice the signature process is completed and finalized. When I return to the contract record, we will notice there is now a signed version of our consulting agreement automatically added to the attachments. We'll see here, it makes a little note for us letting us know that this was signed. And I can now preview, quickly go to the third page, see where that document was signed. But now that I've done my part in sending this document out for signature, what I can do is now come down here, press Approve Task, and we'll notice that this is the last task of our workflow process. No more tasks will roll off. But scrolling back to the top, we will notice the status has now changed yet again to reflect active. This CobbleStone consulting agreement will now appear in all active contract reports. Now, after walking through the life cycle of a contract, we have a variety of tools to help in post-execution tracking, such as the ability to create as many subtables as we would like. Many of our current clients will create a subtable for amendments where they can then track all of the metadata around these amendments that are made to the current contract. By pressing Add right there, I'm brought to an amendment subtable where I have the ability to, again, add as many metadata fields as I would like and track any specific information I typically track around an amendment. Now, aside from the subtables, we also have the ability to create a subfolder and store amendments within their own subfolder. A few additional features that we have are the ability to add any price or cost line items, any budget or funding line items, checklists or milestones can be added as well. We also have the ability to record any notes, comments, or diary logs. Maybe there was a phone call made. And I'll see here, phone call with John at CobbleStone went well. They are moving forward. By creating a note and saving it, any other internal employee that accesses this contract record will be able to go to our notes section and see the note that Daniel Smith had made. We also have the ability to assign additional parties, locations, or departments, or even create a hierarchy. Maybe there is a master services agreement with a few statement of works beneath. We can then link those child agreements to a parent contract. And now moving on from the contract lifecycle, we also have the ability to search and report on just about every metadata field within the CobbleStone system. When it comes to searching, we offer our quick search tool where I can quickly type in any phrase, symbol, number, letter, and the system will let me know if that value was found within the metadata fields or if that value was found within a particular file or attachment. Now in this case right here, it was actually found within a file on a contract record. And we'll notice the system will quickly point out for us where that value of CobbleStone was found. So many of our current clients might be making a search for, let's say, all contracts with an indemnity clause or warranty. All they need to do is type in indemnification or warranty at the top right here, and you can then filter down and find that particular language. You can always export these results to Excel at any time, and you can even manage the column headers that we see at the top here. So you have the ability to pick and choose from any metadata field within the system to use as a filter on your searches. Now, aside from our quick search, we also offer a simple search tool. Really, one more step granular. Here is where we are going to find where a field equals a certain value. So I can do a quick search and find all contracts that are assigned to employee Daniel Smith. Or I could come in and I could do a search for maybe all contracts that are with a particular counterparty, maybe ABC Corp. And again, these results can be exported at any time. And we always have a view all option right here where we can quickly view all contract records within the system and use our fields as filters to narrow the results down. Now, aside from searching, we also have our ad hoc reports, which I had shown on the dashboard screen. And we give about 30 standard ad hoc reports out of the box, but the idea is you can create as many of these reports as you would like. And they can be built off of any metadata field within the system. Any report that you might be accessing frequently, we recommend pinning right to your dashboard screen, where you will then have that report handy right upon login to the tool. Now jumping back to my dashboard, you will notice that the tasks of our workflow process have rolled off in real time. Now as a system administrator, I am receiving every task associated with this record. But in real life scenario, only Sally Smith would have this alert on her calendar, and Steve Stevenson would only have this alert on his calendar. Again, scrolling down further, you'll notice we can come to our ad hoc reports that can be pinned to our dashboard for ease of access right upon login. And that is typically what I like to show for all of the main features and functionalities of the Contract Insight tool. I would like to thank you for your time today and leave the remainder of our time for any questions there may have been. Thank you so much.